When unrelated people with separate encounters begin describing the same thing, that's when patterns start to matter. So, a former military pilot and psionic asset for the Skywatcher group, publicly known as J2, went on record for the first time describing direct contact with an intelligence that he calls the Lady. Now, according to J2, this entity is not interested in crashed crafts, bodies, hardware, technology, anything like that. Her message, that he says, is about human consciousness, psychological and spiritual readiness, and he claims that this framing has drawn serious interest from elements within U.S. intelligence. It's not confirmation, not endorsement, but interest, true interest. Now, what makes this even more intriguing is that J2 isn't the first person telling a version of this same story. For example, Bledsoe, who has publicly spoken about this for years, has had encounters independently describing a female intelligence that he also calls the Lady. Bledsoe has said this presence emphasizes transformation over technology as well, and has repeatedly referenced symbolic timing tied to an ancient star lore, particularly the Star of Regulus, during an Easter season window around 2026. Now, to be clear, there's no verified prediction, there's no promised event, no measurable outcome. But what does exist are two separate independent experiencers with no formal coordination describing a strikingly similar interface. A feminine intelligence, urgency around human readiness, and dismissal of hardware and technology-focused disclosure. So whether this represents an external intelligence, a psychological phenomenon, or some sort of symbolic framework that's emerging, we're not quite sure. But that's where part 2 of this video gets interesting, because the real question for me isn't whether or not the Lady is real, it's why disclosure stories are starting to look less technical in nature and more mythological. So let's talk about that in part 2. Stay tuned.